Alright, so for this exercise, we're going to create a calendar layout that features different artworks by the same artist. Each month will have a different image, and each calendar that you have will also have a corresponding color scheme that matches that image. So as we lay this out, there's a couple of different things to think about, how to change your colors, and also I'm going to show you a different way of setting up your grid from last time. To begin, you should have had access to the Rod's Shaboa artwork folder, and this will have 12 different images that you can work with, and we're going to use InDesign to create our layout. Let's go to File, down to New, and create a new document. Now we're going to use 26 pages. This will give us 12 pages of spreads and then a front and a back cover. We do want them to be facing pages. The size of it is going to be letter size. The margins, for now, we're just going to keep them exactly the same, but we do want to add 1/8 of an inch, 0.125, on all of the sides. When we're done, we can say OK. And this will give us our 26-page layout ready to go to place our stuff into it. Give it a second to load in. All right. Notice that the first page is always by itself, but every subsequent page is a page spread. What we want to do is to place our image on one side and our calendar on the other. Now, to make this easier, we're going to work in our master pages again. So double-click on Master Page. That'll open it up. The first thing that I'm used to doing is seeing a calendar with the image on top and the calendar down below. But right now, it's like my calendar has been rotated onto its side. So what I want to do is I want to rotate my view clockwise so that I'm working in a more comfortable environment. To do that, go to your master page, hold down Control and click, and then go down to Page Attributes and select Rotate Page Spread or Page View. Choose 90 degrees clockwise. This will keep everything side by side in your Pages palette, but will place your images top and bottom in your preview. So this is really nice when doing these kinds of layouts. The next thing we need to do is to set up our margins for each individual page. I've got my left page selected, so I'm going to go up to Layout, down to Margins, and set those to be 0 inches on all sides. We'll say OK. Then I'm going to choose my right page on my master page, and this one's going to have some unique margins to it. We're going to go to Layout, Margins and Columns. The top for these needs to be 1.25, and the bottom needs to be 1 1/4. The inside and outside, and remember this is a glitch, it should be showing inside and outside, but the inside should be 2.25, and the outside should be 0.75. When I say OK, my margins will look like this, and I have a nice area on the inside to work with. So let's start off by creating the calendar grid. For this grid, we're going to use tabs to set and align all of the different elements. I'm going to choose my Type tool and make a Type text box inside of my margin area on this bottom page. So I'm going to click and drag, and I've set my text box inside of here. Now I'm going to open up my tabs that will allow me to align all of my information. The first thing I'm going to do is go up to Type, and let's show our hidden characters. This will make more sense if they can see our tabs once they're done. Next, we're going to go back to Type and open up our Tabs dialog box. By default, the Tabs dialog box is going to be placed on top of whatever text box that you have. You can move it around, but to keep things simple, I like to align the little measurement to the length of the area that I'm working in. To create a tab, we're going to be using Center Alignment tabs. So this Center tab is what we'll select. Click on it. Click once inside of the little tab area down here above your area, and you can see where you can place it anywhere along this area. You can also give it a specific X location, and I've given you the locations on your instructions. So the first one will be 3P8 and hit return. Let's make another one. So I'm going to click once. Be sure to click before you type in the next one. And do 10P11. Hit return. Create a new one. Highlight the X field and do 18P4. Create a new one. This will be 25P7. Create a new one. 33P0. One more, 40P0. And a final one, 47P4. Hit return. So the alignment for all of these is going to be whatever I type will vertically align or center align vertically along each tab. Here's what it looks like. I've got my cursor. I can close this out for now. Blinking cursor at the beginning. I'm going to hit tab, and you can see this little character is my tab character. And whatever I type, in this case I'll type Monday, will be centered along that tab. And if I open up my tabs, you can see where it's at. Hit tab again. We'll go to the next one, Tuesday. Tab Wednesday. Tab Thursday. Friday. Saturday. Oops, I should have put Sunday over here at the beginning. No worries. I'm going to tab over one more time. It automatically aligns to where that tab is. And let's do Sunday. Notice that when I type, everything stays nice and aligned within that tab. So this is a quick and easy way of lining things up. When I hit return, this takes me back to my starting point for the new row. Remember, to do the numbers, we want to hit tab first and do 1, tab 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Hit return. Now if you don't start off with the tab, it's not going to line up appropriately. So we need to always start with the tab. Notice I didn't do it there. 11, 12, 13, and 14. Hit return. Tab 15. 21. Hit return. Return. 29, 30, and 31. So this will give me my dummy text for each one. The main thing to remember is always have a tab in between each of the characters that you want. Now later on, when we start shifting things around, we'll have to erase away our paragraph returns and replace those with tabs. But we'll get into that once we start setting up the final bits of our layout. As soon as you have these placed, I'll close out my tabs now, we're going to highlight the text tool, or the wording on our text, excuse me. The size of our numbers needs to be 58 points. So I'm going to go up here, set my numbers to be 58. And the leading needs to be 60. And that will space everything out. The leading is what's going to control the distance, the height between each of the rows. And so we want to have enough room between each of the rows. I think the titles for each of the days is already set pretty good. Let's turn off our hidden characters. We can see in preview what that would look like. The only thing that I give you for this particular setup is that I want you to use a serif typeface. In this case, I'm using Myriad, which is a good serif to work with. You can choose bold or italics or any other typeface, but I'm going to leave it up to you for what you want to do. Next thing, let's draw some vertical lines that separate each of our days. To do this, I'm going to grab my line segment tool. I'm going to draw a line starting from the edge and then one in between each one of these. But I'm not going to do it correctly the first time. So draw a line segment. It goes from the top to the bottom. There's one. Draw another one. 2. And right now I'm just eyeballing everything in. It's not going to be perfect. You'll see some will be wider than the others, some will be closer to the line than others. Later on, we're going to go back in and make this perfect. Also, I'm holding down my Shift key to give me that perfect vertical alignment. So now I've got a variety of lines. Let's make sure they're evenly spaced. Grab your selection tool. I'm going to click and drag and select everything. Hold down Shift and deselect your text box. So all I have left are my lines that I have selected. To make sure they're evenly distributed, look at the very top of your page for the distribution over here. We want to distribute these horizontally evenly. One click will realign everything, and now they're perfectly aligned. I can even get rid of the ones on the edge. That makes it look a little bit more stylish. This is what we're going for this. The next thing I need to do is to add a background for an image and also a background color for my lower half. Let's go back to the top. I'm going to grab my rectangle frame tool. Let's add a rectangle up here, and we'll keep it blank for now. And also, let's add a rectangle to the bottom. Notice when I added these rectangles, the image needs to go all the way to my bleed edge. I don't need to stop right at the edge of my document. The bleed edge is what we need. Let's fill this in with just a dummy color for now. I'll use blue, and we'll send it all the way to the back. Do make sure it's selected. There we go. Later on, we'll go in and change this particular color. The final thing I need to do is to add an area for my month and for the year. However you want to design this is up to you, so I'm just going to quickly design something out to give us a good set and flow. Let's add a text box to the top. This text box will have January. Maybe the font will be Futura Bold. That looks good. Make it larger. Remember, you can center this up. I'm not worried about color for now. 2017. I'm even going to add some more embellishment off to the side. I like to have maybe a line dividing that off. Let's have a black box go off the edge. And inside of this box, I'm going to put my date. So this would be month number 1. Futura. Place it over here. Let's make it white. And we're going to center it up. Actually, let's right align it. Feel free to copy my style, or better yet, come up with your own style. That's looking pretty good. Line this up a little bit better. Put that in the center. Okay. Once we've got our master page finished, now it's a matter of going back in each individual page and placing the content that we want for this one. So I'm going to double click on page 2 and 3. This will be our first calendar spread. And remember, since it's on a master page, I can't select and edit everything. So what I want to do is to override everything that's on both of these pages. To do this, you can select both of the pages. I held down Shift to select both of them. Hold down Control and click, and choose Override All Master Page Items. This will unlock everything that's in those 2 pages and allow you to move it, edit it, or in our case, we want to change the colors for it as well. Let's place an image on this side. I'm selecting this text box, Command D to drop it in, and let's find the artwork for the artist. There's the artist. There is no particular order for these, but you do need to use each one of them. So we'll do wind first. Open. Notice it automatically rotates it and places it in there perfectly. The downside is the images that we're using are automatically set to be 8.5 by 11, but the area that we're covering is a little bit small, so we need to choose Fit the Content to make it larger and to fit the entire frame that we're working in. The final thing we need to do is to choose color schemes for our calendar that's based on the image that we're working in. To do this, I'm going to use my Color Theme tool. It looks like the eyedropper tool, but it's much, much more powerful. With this tool, I can click on any image. In this case, I'll click on the picture, and it gives me a set of swatches that are commonly used within the layout. Now, these are just the most commonly used one. If I want more swatches to choose from based on other things, like if I wanted the bright colors or the muted or the dark colors, I can choose these color swatches as well. These allow me to quickly and easily place these swatches into the calendar layout. And this is a great way of designing out your designs, and it takes away a lot of the guesswork of what colors work with your images. You're using the colors from the image. The next thing to note is you can choose what color swatch you want to work with by clicking on and highlighting it. Let's say I wanted this yellow to be the background color. I've still got my color theme picker tool selected. With the color swatch clicked, I can click on the background and it applies it to that area. If I wanted this red to be the color of the text, with my text tool, notice how when I hover over text, my little icon has a T on it. I can click and highlight, and it automatically colorizes that text. And so this is a great way of selecting swatches and clicking on individual elements and colorizing those elements very, very quickly. I can even colorize all of the text that's in there in one fell swoop. What I want you to do for this layout is have nothing black. You can use white and you can use the colors that are in your color picker, but I don't want you to use any color black on your layout. Very quickly and easily you can choose these swatches and apply them to each of the elements. You can see now I'm even carefully clicking on the lines to create those. Once you're done, now I'm done with January. I move on. This will be February. So I go through, select my 2-page spreads. We need to override the master page items. To avoid confusion, let's go ahead and type out February. We'll change this number to 2. And of course we need to tab down our characters. Now if I need to rotate the view of my spread, just like I did in my master page, I can do that for my individual spreads as well. We'll go over to our 2-page spread, hold down Control and click. Under Page Attributes, we'll rotate the spread view 90 degrees. That will rotate it here. Notice you also get the little icon to indicate that it is spread. Let's tab this over. February starts on a Wednesday, so I'll use my Type tool. I'll hit the Tab key to move this over till the 1 is on Wednesday, but notice that this is going to mess up the rest of my numbers. No worries. Let's put our insertion point, delete away, and then we'll press Tab to move our characters over. So the 4 needs to have a return. That puts 5, 6, 7 is off. Then 14 is also off as well, and 11 needs a return character. There's 12, 15. We'll back it up, tab it over. 18, we'll return it. 21, 22. We'll put these over there as well. So it does take a little bit of practice trying to tab things into place, but once you get the hang of it, it flows very nicely. Let's place an image up here at the top. Drop it in, choose another one, can be any one that you want. Do remember to fit it to the content. Grab our color theme tool, click anywhere on the image. This one's got a different color theme, so we're going to use the colors that are picked up here. And let's say I wanted this background to be, we'll make this the sky blue, a little bit darker. Let's do the darker blue. I like that one. Maybe I want to pick up on some of the red that was in his shirt, so I can choose that color swatch. Carefully click on the appropriate thing. And then colorize everything that's on here. You be creative, you come up with your own personal layout, but feel free to play around with how everything looks and feels on your document page spread. Once you're finished, you do need to package this, so we'll go to File, down to Package, and this will step you through all of the steps for collecting the fonts and collecting the images that you use. Once you are finished with this, you'll need to select your folder and compress it. And then once a zip file is created, this zip file is what you'll upload to Moodle once you're finished.